Alright, so this is 2018 practice final question number 1. We're rewriting this logarithmic expression as a single logarithm. So make sure you know how to go both directions. Like this one is taking what's been already expanded and putting it back together, which is useful if you need to solve an equation that has a bunch of logarithms put them all together into one logarithm and then reduce it to exponential form. Or it allows us to take a big ugly thing that's all put together and spread it out like this into individual pieces. Alright, so the first thing I always want to do is take the coefficients that are out front of each logarithm and put them back on as powers. I'm just going to rewrite each step one at a time. So that would be the natural log of x minus 1 squared minus the natural log of x plus 3 to the 5th power, and then minus the natural log of x squared plus 9 to the 1/4 power. Keep that in mind that that's going to be a 4th root, and I'll probably rewrite it as a 4th root. I'll look and see what they do in the answer key. Okay, and then anything that's a positive term will be on top of the fraction. Anything that's a negative term will go in the denominator. So that means I'm ready now to have one single natural logarithm. In the numerator of my single logarithm, I have x minus 1 squared. That term is positive. But then these terms both are negative. They have the negative in front of them, so they're both going to go in the denominator. So that would be like x plus 3 to the 5th. And then instead of writing that to the 1/4 power, typically we would probably write that as a root instead. It's not a square root, it's a 4th root, so clarify that. It's not wrong to just leave it as a 1/4 power, but if this was a multiple choice question, they would be likely to want to make sure that you knew that that 1/4 power meant 4th root. So I think that's it, if that makes sense. Let me look and see how they put it together on their answers. Oh, they just left the 1/4. Okay. That's fine. And I put the extra parentheses around the whole thing to clarify that that's all part of the natural logarithm. They didn't put that part in either. So we just noticed as a class that our answer key has a mistake, because in the answer key they have a 5 here, but it should definitely just be that 2. So that was written wrong by whoever wrote up the answer key. And then the other thing they did in the answer key was they didn't change the 1/4 power to a 4th root. They just left it. But just keep in mind, if you ever had a problem with a root in it, like let's say you had the log of a root of something, I don't know, I'm making something up, over 2, sure, that's what came to mind. Then we would rewrite that as a 1/2 power. So it would be 1/2 natural log x squared plus 1 minus natural log 2, because you can't really take a square root and put it in front as a coefficient. So just keep that in mind. Even though they didn't change the 1/4 to a root, make sure you always change a root to a power so that it can be a coefficient. Does that make sense? So this was just a problem I made up. This would be if we were expanding the logarithm. So we want to change our root to a power. This has nothing to do with the other problem other than it's the opposite process. Right?